right, hello kids, welcome back to the stream after a 2-day break because I'm getting old. I injured my hip. It sucks. It really sucks, but feeling a bit better now, and thanks for the concern. Yeah, don't really want to talk much about that. I'm here to relieve myself of the burdens of life and the pressures, so glad that you could join. I've got one problem to solve today, and that is how to get a nice guitar signal into this beat. I'm going to continue my attack on the Cyberpunk genre with track 9, which you can hear playing in the background. Well, so far it's really just a loop at the moment. I'm going to bring some life to it, tell a story with it, and it's going to be a cool stream. Let's get on with it. So one thing I want to do here real quick is I'll just introduce the channel. If you're new to the channel, I make Ableton Live templates and devices and presets and packs, and I release music, Creative Commons music that I make in Ableton. So this is actually sounding not too bad now. It sounds like we've got a horrible high-pitched whine still. Might have to change out the cable. Sorry, this might crack a little bit, but anyway. Point is, we're going to make some cool music today. It needs to be grounded, that's why. Yeah, I had 1 or 2 people comment and say get well soon and all that, which I really appreciate, thanks. And, you know, the time off, I've been like lying, I'm like on Schedule 5 painkillers, so I've been lying on the couch, thinking a lot about this channel and where it's going. Let me put on my hype music while I talk about this, and what to do with it. And you know, like, this doesn't just have to be about templates and Ableton. It can also just, you know, be about like music in general and the Creative Commons approach to making music, making your music like freely available in exchange for credit. There's a lot going on in the world. It's changing. I've found this cool like site that just generates pop songs with lyrics and singing and everything, just like an AI site that now just like spits out pop songs, and they sound pretty much like the type of stuff you'd hear on the radio. So there's a real like squashing of competition at the highest levels happening, and it's kind of democratizing everything. So now's the best time, I think. There's like, we've never needed artists more, artists and writers and thinkers and originals and creatives. So I'm wondering about how that all factors in, like where to take the channel and what to do with it. So yeah, we can chat more about that as we go. But yeah, leave a comment in the chat if you're if you're into what I'm on about today. In the meantime, I'm going to try and develop this loop for track 9. Let's first just kill it. We're going to need something other than just this one sort of passage before I start doing any guitar recording or anything. So just cut it there. Got a new Patreon sign up, which is very encouraging. Thank you very much, Tom, a mate of mine who saw the need to basically support what I'm doing, which is great. So it's nice to see Patreon. Like, it's a slow process, but I believe in Patreon and Creative Commons, you know, community support, that kind of thing, and it really helps. My goal right now is to get a better camera, so we're aiming for that, and I can put out better content, and you know how it goes as a positive feedback cycle. Cool. So let me just put this down, and we can get on with what we're aiming for today. First thing I'm going to do is just get the stand a bit closer. Yeah, alright kids, let's do it. Cool. So yeah, like I said, drop a message in the chat if you want to hang out while I'm working. I really love and enjoy chatting to people while I work. Cool, so we got a beat going here. You've heard it since the stream started, so I won't play it again right now. How are we going to develop this? What are we going to do with it? Now, what I've noticed with this type of stuff, this type of soundtrack music, is that you don't really want to be too clever. You don't have to turn it into a full production, a pop song or anything. You just got to set a scene and make sure it stays like, you know, pretty much in the pocket, just nice and groovy in the background, and evokes a very clear like sort of feeling, like a place and time. For this type of stuff, I think dystopian, urban, that's the futuristic, we've got those sounds in there. What I think it could do with though is like a slow build, like almost starting out as this as a bass line, like as in the bottom level, and then adding layers to it. And one of those layers will be a guitar, something a bit harsh, maybe a little bit of distortion, and start to really build it into a like a biggish sound. And then we'll drop it back down to something like simpler, much simpler. So what I mean by much simpler is if I kill the high end like that, I've got shortcuts on my keyboard for 3 and 4, which kill the high end. Everything over, let's take a look, everything over what? Everything over 500 hertz is now dead. And if I hit 3 and 4 again, they'll come back on. So this is the type of middle of the track sound. After we've kind of started the build, we can get it to a big point and then bring it back down to this kind of thing, or even right down to the sub level like that. Just going to turn off this amp behind me. It's one of the reasons I've got to take the line out of the amp instead of miking it up, is because it does put out a bit of a whine. It's got a fan at the back, and it's not a really nice sound for your recordings. And also I'm not in a treated room, so okay, cool kids, so let's get on with it then. Taking it up to that side over there. All right. Okay, let's start with just the high part without the pad and see how that sounds. So starting again here. Okay, that bass already sounds like it's too much in the mid-range. I want to just dip the res on that. And I think we should have a MIDI map for the filter here. I think we do 51. This one over here. So no, that's going to be this one here. There, that's what I mean by build. So you can see on the right hand side over here, I'm controlling the cutoff for the bass frequency. So now we can start it really kind of low. I think that cutoff should also actually apply to the kit. So what I'm going to do now is just duplicate that auto filter and stick it on the kit right at the end of the chain, even after the multi-band compressor has done its work. So that now when I hit this knob over here on the right, top right of my little keyboard guy, I can cut off the beat as well as the bass like this. And now that I think of it, maybe even the strings too, although they are just high, so we can, we're not going to be able to cut off the highs and have anything left. So let's leave it at that. We'll just do bass and yeah. So that's our kind of gimmick for the track. If this is the bass at full frequency, I don't actually want to hear it. It doesn't sound very good. So I'm going to flip back over to MIDI mode and just make sure that the bass never really gets that high by changing the high frequency from 20,000 hertz to say just 12,000 hertz. That means that is the maximum it's now ever going to get to. I think it's probably still a bit high. Yeah, it's a little bit buzzy. But I can always tweak these strings, tweak those sounds, and make sure that it doesn't sound too bad. That's kind of more in the mixing process. So let's just try it again now at 9,000 hertz max. A little bit better, but we'll get there. Okay. So my approach for the Cyberpunk stuff so far has been a little bit different. Instead of thinking like a composer, where I would sit down and play chords and come up with melodies, I've started with the sound design element. The sound design element, through that I've created a pack, well, a growing number of presets, which you can see I've saved here on the left under Cyberpunk. So these are based on Massive devices, which I kind of reverse engineered. Native Instruments Massive, very, very sophisticated like synth. And I found some of their cool dystopian sounding patches and I reverse engineered them so they're Ableton default devices, which are playing things that sound like the best or, very good sounds. And then I've started to like label them according to lead or pad or texture, and all of this stuff will be released in these packs that I basically put up on Patreon and elsewhere. So yeah, that's where we're going with it all. I'm on track 9 of 10, so we're almost at the end of the first pass of the entire project, which is quite exciting. These last 2 days, as I've mentioned, I've been like lying on the couch sick, well, with a hip injury. So it's nice to be back in front of this computer, to be honest, like making some music again. Drop a comment in the chat if you're interested in hearing what's been up, and yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have been doing too. Okay, so if we get to that point with that cheesy sounding bass, that's can be sort of phase one of this track. Then we're going to drop in the pad and the strings and get to this point. I know we've got another MIDI map somewhere here, and it might be the pad. No, it's not, it's the bass. Let's just hear what that sounds like. Okay. It's called wobbly. I don't know what it's actually triggering. Wobbly flag bass. Oh, there we go. It's got the LFO rate, so I can do this. Okay, it's not actually doing anything. LFO is not currently triggering anything. Let's see if we can change that. Maybe we could get it to do some wob 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 kind of sounds. If we go to the filter and we change the filter to have a go to the LFO itself and then say we want the destination to be filter 100%, and then there, that's it. We could get that sort of dubstep sound if we wanted, like that kind of thing. Let's just see how that sounds in context. Here we go. It might bring a bit of life to the track, a bit of movement to it a bit later, so we'll keep that in the bank, so to speak. I've lost the power of the bass though. Maybe I should just see how we're doing here bass-wise. This multiband is not ideal for bass. We want it to be more of a, much more compressed on the mid side, and I do want to get rid of that high buzzy sound. It's a bit cheesy. So we'll pump up the volume and we'll make sure that is how it sounds. Yeah, now it sounds more like a bass I could work with. So there's the high frequency cutoff, and here's the wobble effect, or the creative sort of sounding. So I'll get to that in the later stages of this track. We can do a bit of that fun stuff later on, once I've got the skeleton of the track sort of fleshed out. Yeah, so this is the music side of things, and it's quite cool for me to be able to sit here and talk about it because I love composing and I love teaching, but I'm also interested in what you guys are doing. So if you're around and you feel like sticking your hand up and saying, hey, what's up, here's what I've been busy with, and you're welcome to do so in the chat. Yeah, this is the moment where it's like the club door closes and characters have a conversation, and then suddenly we go back into the club. Okay, and that's just the bass. Now we bring it all in. Okay, cool. So we got Act 1 or Phase 1 of the track, which is just the sort of demo beat and bass. Let's actually just take out the highs for that. Hear how it sounds. Okay, I'm just going to cut this bass in half, just the first two bars. Here we go. Then I'm going to rewrite this bass line. I don't want it to just be the same bass line the whole way through. It's a rookie error. When writing music, you've got to create, some kind of movement or story. Okay, let's just try something from scratch. It doesn't matter if I mess it up. I can always restore it. And that's I'm up on a high octave. This is quite cool though, when you start out in a higher key. So let's just try this. This is kind of the preamble, like before the track kicks off proper, which means we're going to need another scene. So that this one here, all of this stuff here, can go up one without the strings in the pad. So this is sort of phase 2 now. Okay, so you're just thinking aloud here. Okay, that's a very basic sound, but I'm hearing the potential of it. Okay, let's change to a chord arm and go for it. 1, 2. Okay, there's a simple beat. Let's just change the... Okay, I want to take it back to where it was and just make sure I only quantize the beginning to 100%. Give it a listen. That's cool, that's kind of what I wanted. And at the end, a bit of difference here. Okay, cool, there's like a triplet at the end, so that works out well. So you build that up for a little bit, and then when you're ready, you drop into the main beef of the track, so to speak. We could do a big drop and go straight into this thing, but I don't. That's got a nice bend on it. Yeah, it's got a pitch bend. You can see I changed that. Okay, that's all good. It's got that glitch hop sound. And then, okay, at this point we're gonna need something something that's like the high percussion sounds have to be much more detailed at that point to bring a sort of an urgency and a rhythm to it. So let's see what we got in the texture bank. Whoa, that's nice. Okay, this fabulous patch over here, I've been using it for a while. It's this texture patch over here. Let's crack it open and see what we're working with. So yeah, so it's a wavetable like most of the stuff I'm using, and I've got an arpeggiator on it. Let's just get rid of the macros. You can see what's going on. There we go, cool. There's the way. It's biharmonic steps algorithm, and let's bring this texture channel over here because I have a feeling I'm going to be working with it. Let's take it up really high to like a high A. Cool. Now we're just going to cut that release time down. Still too long. There, that's what I'm talking about. That is not bad. Let's see what the other texture channel gives us in terms of high, very fast and busy sort of high percussion. Yeah, this is the one I've been using for everything basically. This one has got a nice panner on it already, so it's got some stereo imaging. Let's see what increasing the gate there does. No, that's not what we're after. This is this weird darbuka thing. It's a darbuka sample that I have co-opted. What's the second one look like? Sound like? How's it sound? Oh, this is the one that just comes in after some time. Right, yeah. I get it. So it's just a noise sound that comes in after a bit of a delay. Oh no, wait, there's a second patch here. Let's hear how that sounds. Just refamiliarizing myself with all these instruments I've created because I missed the stream like Monday and Tuesday. Sorry about that. Oh, this does come in handy. This high-pitched whine sound comes in quite handy for this type of track because it's got a tense element to it. By tense element, I mean just a touch of that in the background of the track really fills out that that air range that they call it, like right up top. They call it air. And it's got a multi-tonal sound too, which also creates dissonance and adds to the vibe, so I like that. Let's see how it sounds with the track. Here we go. Too loud, but we got the idea. It's that high top stuff that you want to just kind of create tension. I'm going to bend it with a pitch wheel here. It's got that radio static sound, that like frequency being modulated everywhere. I like this. I like where we're going this. Because it isn't an old hip-hop sound, right? We've got an old hip-hop sound track, so this is a nice old hip-hop sound effect. This is a sound effect. It sounds like vinyl scratching there. Okay, let's do a take of that. I like this. Okay, good. Get excited about that. Alright, let's do it. It sounds like, vinyl static. Like scratching on on vinyl or something. Okay, here we go. Screwed it up. Shit. Okay, well, we'll use that as the opener. We'll just use that scratch take as the opener. Okay, cool. Here we go for the take for the main thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Got one take of that. Cool. 4 bars. That's it. Now we just take the volume down. And we want to again just quantize to say, yeah, it's a 16th, but only to start. Cool, and just this must be a bit longer. Not dee. Yeah, good. It's got a little bit of originality to it, if you want to call it that. Cool, I like it. It's a bit slow. It's a bit low actually, but we'll work it. And then we'll actually use this one too. Yeah, I think this texture sound over here could be used too, but I want them to be separate. And actually, let's keep it there because they're all running through OTT, so it makes it grouping the channel and it's already routed, so I don't have to redo the work. Okay, cool. And then for this, like I was originally mentioning, what we need is a fast sounding high percussion. So let's delete that analog, which we don't need, and we're going to double the speed of whatever is serving as the arpeggiator in this case. Here we go. So it's going to be rate 16, rate with 32. That's it. That's it. That's the sound we're going for. Cool. That means all we got to do now is just hold down a key in the high register. So let's go up to C5 and just drop it in there. There we go. Good. Now we're going to fine tune this sound to make sure it doesn't sound like a complete mess. What I'm looking for is, yeah, let's remove the surrounder. We don't need that. Then the actual bass, not necessary. Let's get all that out the way. I don't think that's affecting it. It's this one here. Okay, I'm just, let's get rid of that, show you what I'm doing. We'll need the actual device open though. Just not the chain information. Okay, cool. Now we can, maybe the macros have got, no, now we can bring this tighter. I want it to be really nice and close. Okay, I think we've got a problem with some delay or something happening because it's I like that. Maybe a bit of epoxy crush will work. That's the name of that device, which is giving it a kind of a saturation. Surrounder, I'm confident we're gonna not use. It's gonna just muddy things up with too much data. We've also got two instances of it. That's what I'm looking for. So just by removing one of these two chains, I can actually find the sound I'm looking for. Okay, and that's basically it. Just a high sound, high frequency sound like that with a low cut filter, just to, that's it. Now we don't need it to actually go the whole time, so let's bring in some artistry into it. Okay, so I'm going to take out the part as the snares hit. That's it. Okay, so that's all we need. One of those. It's a little bit late. So you can hear the difference here when it dips out. It's not competing with the snare at that moment. The snare takes up that whole space, which is great. Cool. Progress achieved. Okay, and we can do the mixing on that later, but for now all we need is that kind of initial. I want these to both be maxed out in terms of volume. So you can really see what a difference this makes to the track. Even this part over here sounds like nothing on its own. There they are both. So I'm going to play them in the context now, and I'm going to mute them. 2, 3, 4. Now it sounds so much more flat, right? Okay, cool, that's a good start. Let's take us down to 12. Okay, cool. gonna head back over to the left here. Now, what I've been recently working on is this high frequency percussion sound over here, and it's cool, and I'll get to the mixing of it later, but for now I'm happy with how that sounds. This track's coming along. Let's go back to the top and hear how it sounds from the beginning. 4 3 4, because this is your initial sort of overture. One idea I've had for this is to bring in a completely separate drum kit here and just go like hard rock metal or something like that, and then to scale it up as the drop happens. Here we go, we drop into the more of the hip-hop kind of sound. So let's get an alternative for a drum machine in here and do something quite rare for Cyberpunk, which is to go for actual drums, drum sounds, live drums basically. And I'm going to use a loop for this. I'm not going to load up a preset, because when I distribute these tracks, these templates, I don't want the end users to be unable to open them. So this is democratic music templates for all, self-contained Ableton Live 11 plus templates for the masses. Okay, let's get samples open. I'm going to look for a kit here. Kit, not kit. We can go with. Let's just try to see if we can get any metal drums here. Cinematic effects, loops. I like that. No. Classic kits. No, these are all effects. Future World Dance, not gonna have anything. Computer music. These are all metal sounds. Okay. Let's get the Ableton library. We don't actually need drums, we need actually, you know what we can do? I did have a drum kit in a previous channel, a previous track that worked quite well. So I'm gonna go to my stuff, current project, sorry, and just crack open some of these and see if I can find that original drum kit, because I like the sound of it. It was quite harsh. I don't think it was 5. Let's try number 6. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. There we go. I'm just going back through my previous projects and seeing if I can find a drum kit which was used and has live drum sounds, which I'm going to use to complement this in a sort of, very industrial way. Like, this is 9 Inch Nails territory, so running drum kits through distortion pedals and that kind of thing is quite normal. And it doesn't have to be the most high quality kit to begin with, because you're just distorting it anyway, Okay, here we go. Kit 1, Kit 2, and Kit 3. Alright, I have a feeling it's one of these. Let's try this out. This might be a crash. Let's see. No, thank you. And this might actually be the one I'm looking for. No, this is just the kick tom. It's quite cool, but it's not what I was looking for. Let's try Kit 2. I believe it was actually a drum sample. It's like a loop. But reusing the same sounds is a good idea if you want to create, an album of work. So, let's see if we can do that, shall we? Shall we see? I am considering doing some new stuff for this channel, stuff I've never done before. And by that I mean not tutorial videos, but just kind of like how Creative Commons music works. And if you're a musician and you're putting your stuff online and you're not getting any interest in it, or the typical thing of like, I spent 16 hours on this track and I got 4 plays on Spotify, that type of thing. I know what it's like. Trust me, I know what that feeling is like. And I think a lot of people out there might be interested to hear more about Creative Commons and how it works and some of the developments that are happening in it. In the kind of give it away for free or give it away in exchange for credit, that, believe it or not, can earn you some money. And I would wager that you've got a better chance of earning through Creative Commons music releases and making your stuff, given attribution licenses, than you do by putting it on Spotify and hoping for some kind of record deal or recognition through this sort of commercial celebrity appeal of being an artist. So I've never been like, well, not in the last 5 years have I been someone who wants to like be to leverage fame or to leverage like a brand in exchange for earning or ticket sales or merch. What I'm looking to do is make these connections with people who are connected to people who, you know, are creating productions, basically like film productions, games, that type of thing. That's the aim of what I'm doing here, is to connect with other creative people and higher up the chain, so that I'm, you know, I've got the leverage then to be able to work on games and soundtrack and scores and custom scores and that kind of thing. But for all of that to happen, you have to get the attention of the decision makers, and in order to get the attention, you have to have some kind of following. Here it is. So this is called Dry Session Kit. Let me just rename it Drums. This is the one I was looking for. This should work. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea now. I wanted to like share some of the knowledge, share some of the stuff I've learned about that whole process, and how I've slowly over time, you know, built up incoming links and sort of some kind of profile as a Creative Commons artist, and I want to share some of that stuff, you know. Okay, let's hear how this sounds. That's it, yeah. That's how it went down. Now we're going to run that through distortion, but first let's write a part which will start out this track. So we'll complement the hip-hop beat like that. Layered drums. No, we don't want bongos and stuff in it, please. Okay, so I'm layering drums here. I've got a hip-hop kit and a distorted acoustic kit. We'll fine-tune the sounds as we go. Let's just drop down the recording quickly. Okay, and we'll just bring that over there, so we should have it there. 3, 4. It's supposed to be a bit loose. Okay, cool. I'm going to remove that second snare, quantize everything a little bit, just so that it sounds a little bit like, you know, it's been played not by a complete drunken amateur, although that is kind of the vibe we're going for here, the drunken amateur beat. Now this piece over here, this drum kit over here, which I'm layering over the hip-hop kit, two completely separate sounds. I want this to be even more distorted, so I'm going to find one of the recent patches I've been saving in my collection of devices that I'll be giving away as part of these template packs. It's called, what is it called? Something like, it's under my stuff, Cyberpunk there. So all of these devices here, I'm kind of custom making them for a Cyberpunk sound. They're all Ableton native devices. And the effect that I'm going for, it's called Master Crisp Saturation, but I think it's more like digital distortion. Let's give it a listen. Always turn the dial down before you hit play. That's it, yeah. So it's horribly distorted. In fact, so much so I'm going to have to cut some of these lows, I think. Let's put the utility bus right at the end. Make sure we dial back the reverb a little bit. And also give it a low cut, because I don't want this to be like boom amount, yeah, that kind of thing mustn't be high. I don't want this to eat up all the low end before it's had a chance to even see the light of day. So let's just get at the end of the cue here, we're going to get an EQ8, and I'm just going to literally roll off the bottom end of this entire disgusting piece of drums. Cool, here we go. Yeah, I should just go straight here, because we've got the low end kick happening already. This is more just like it's supposed to sound like a really lo-fi recording of drums. So we'll peak it a little bit in the high mids there. That's it, yeah, that kind of crunchy, horrible. Let's give it a listen. There's randomness to it, which is cool. The bass doesn't really work, but we'll get there. Okay, the bass is just one or two oscillators at the moment. Let's give it a second layer. We're going to group this together. And we actually need this auto filter to be at the end of the whole thing. Cool. I'm going to look for not a slap bass, but an acoustic bass. I think there'll be one under tension. Let's see if we can find a bass guitar under tension. EQ bass. Bassa. We don't want a bassa. We want a bass. Okay, let's see if we get an electric bass. Yeah, basic electric drive bass. This is the type of stuff. Catgut. Let's try that. I'm going to add a catgut bass to wobbly flag bass and see how it sounds. It's got that kind of low string, wobbly string sound. Much better already. Let's see if we can make it even. I like this. I think it's the right choice. Damper, no. Let's get the okay, so we got a release value that's quite high. What we've got to do next is just yeah, maybe that's even better. Like, this is so interesting the way these sound designers put these devices together. It's really amazing. That's giving more harmonics. I don't want that. Okay, so I'm getting fine tuning here, but that's not the goal. The goal is just to get a nice. I need it to just ring out a little longer. That's all. So we can take the decay up. Is that going to work? No. Fret stiffness? No. Usually you'd have an ADSR envelope, but tension works a little bit differently to that. I love inharmonics. Anyway. There we go. The decay of the string value. Okay, cool. Cool. So that's quite useful. Okay, that's dominating the bass a little bit. We've got a rock sound all of a sudden, and then we go. So we're going for an aggressive metal sound, maybe some dubstep influence, but the point is there's a live element to this track that's not present in the other tracks. We're going to continue to develop it as we go. I'm thinking that's maybe not the right sound. This definitely needs more distortion. Maybe we should get the that same effect that I had a minute ago. Let's stick it on there. So I'm going to take the bass value away and run master crisp saturation onto the wobbly flag bass. Okay, let's try and get this bass right, at least as right as it can be through these headphones. Oh, that's better already, yeah. There's also another cool, this thing, distortion rhythm bites. Maybe I'm going to add that as a layer. Let's just see how it sounds if I add that as a layer to the bass instruments. I want to just preview them one by one. So this guy, that's fine, but that's not actually the one I was looking for. I was looking for distorted square pulse. These are some of the presets I've been making for this pack. That's cool. Not really what I'm looking for though. And also it might be a bit too high basically. I need to transpose it up 12. Let's see how that goes. So now we're sounding a bit more like a Cyberpunk soundtrack. That's too high for a bass. Now we've got that. And we've got this low catgut bass which is tension and it sounds like an acoustic guitar or a bass guitar. I've got the control of the decay value here, which is going to give us a lengthening of the string sound. I'm just wondering if there's the global effects here. Let's take it up an octave. I think that might actually work better. Now we go back to the decay sound. It's going to sound a bit better. That's what I'm going for. And then this one actually has a sub-ish sound in it. because that's too harsh, but you can hear it's quite low. What I don't like is I don't like that that buzzy, it's very Ableton sound. So I'm trying to kind of mitigate that a little bit. It should sound good even when I have got the auto filter, which you can now see on the right. Even when that's at max, it shouldn't sound like cheesy. And this is about as good as I've been able to make it sound right now. So let's do that, and then stick the multi-band compressor right at the end of the chain after the filter, after the cutoff filter. So it's got a little bit of flavor to it. I think this must come down maybe 9 dB. Cool, we got some effect, some options there. Okay, cool. This is our sort of B scene, and now onto our C scene. Let's try this out. Now we got the high frequency pitter patter. Check my cool dance, man. I'm a dad now, I get to be a dork too. I've just injured my hip and I'm like walking around with a crutch, you know, like for the last couple of days. That's why I missed the last 2 days streams. So sorry about that. But we're making progress here, kids. We've got 9 out of 10 tracks. These loops have come along like quite a ways. I haven't put out a video on YouTube for 3 weeks, but I've got 10 videos like waiting to go. I just need to sit down and have the time to post them and write the descriptions and stuff, because there's a lot of like admin that goes into releasing this type of stuff. I got a new patron like a couple days ago, $6 patron, which is super exciting. It's not about the $6, it's about the feeling that, you know, the work that I'm doing has value. So that's super cool. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Tom McNally from Brighton. Yeah, I mean, just, you know, the most exciting thing that's happened recently actually is this filter cutoff. But besides that is I'm going to be sort of, there's this option for like not monetizing but controlling the usage of your music. It's this group that approached me called Frequency Music. It's a registration platform that allows you to see, it gives you access to your data basically. It's like where your tracks are being used now. Like most of my tracks are being released as public domain, so I don't really have any like sort of right to tell people how they're being used. But what will be super useful is seeing like, you know, the people out there using like my music in shorts, which is like getting 4 million plays, and I'm not aware of any of this. So I'm not accessing any of the data on like the trends that, you know, that my music is falling into, or that kind of thing. So that kind of stuff would be super useful. So I'm going to submit my music to that platform, and I'd like to actually see how it goes and keep you guys in the loop about this Frequency Music based in the Netherlands. Let's see how it goes, man. I mean, you know, you get a lot of people coming along trying to get between you and your audience, which is something I don't support. I'm supporting like, you know, just direct contact basically. I have for the last 5 years. But yeah, I think this is a legit way to find out more information about how I can, you know, serve that audience better. So that's where we're going. Cool. This is really quite loud now. Let's take this hip hop scratchy sound up, down. Yeah. Cool. Alright, so that is the track so far without guitar. Now I'm going to screw around on guitar and see if I can get some sounds out of it that sound good. Let's try this. 4. That's it. There we go. I just recorded a new scene. That's going to work quite well. This guy over here. Just like another layer of sound, you know? Just kind of thicken it up, fatten it up, make it sound like it's layered. And when you listen to it, you're like, whoa, that's great. As long as it's mixed nicely. Cool. So let's just get that guy in the bag. I'm going to drop it 6 over here on the left. And I'm going to take it up 6. Oops. Just deleted something I think I shouldn't have. There we go. Cool. Yeah, this comes up 6. Okay, this comes down to 9. Cool. Yeah, so making Ableton Live Cyberpunk themed music. I'm going to turn around now and grab my guitar because I feel like playing a little bit before I finish today. The stream's almost over. And I'm going to continue tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow, Friday, no stream because I'm out of town, going to relax a little bit for the long weekend, for the Easter weekend. But I'll be back on Monday, or tomorrow and Monday. What is today? Tuesday. Sorry, I'm on Schedule 5 drugs right now because of my hip injury. I don't actually know what the hell's going on. Today's Wednesday. Okay. So I'll be back tomorrow and Monday. Let's see how this guitar sounds. Ah, shit. Even moving around like that hurts. Okay. Ah. Oof, that is not a good idea. Putting my leg up like that. Cool. I'm going to take us down to 12. This can come up now. Now maybe we've got enough to actually get the tuning done, huh? Turn off the reverb. And let's see if we can get the tuning done. Tuning the guitar, and then I'll be doing a little bit of stuff on top of this sort of hip-hop inspired, glitch hop inspired cyberpunk track. One of 10 that I'll be releasing to Creative Commons under a 4.0 license attribution. And then I'll be releasing the Ableton Live packs as self-contained template files via Patreon. So we're starting up here. This is the sound that's been missing from this track the whole time. Okay, let's get it down. Gotta mute my mic so you can hear what I'm doing. Just give me a sec here. There we go. Cool, that's it. I got 2 decent takes there of the guitar, hopefully, and that should give us a nice little vibe to work with. Let's try it out. First thing I'm going to do is, not delete what I've just done, but unmute what I've just done. Take the monitor to auto, and same with this one here. Now I can just find the parts that I want, which are the last 4 bars and the 4 bars before that. So I'm going to take that one there, duplicate it over. Oops, I've gone and deleted what I've done again. This one over here gets duplicated over there. I'll just scroll that back over there, and now I've got 2 parts which are separate 2 takes at least. Let's try that. That's it. Let's stick that on the right, and I'll stick the other one on the left. There we go, nice and hard. Yes, that's it. Bring me into the world, the underworld. I'm listening to the BBC radio drama, or audio drama, of Neuromancer, the original Cyberpunk novel, which I read years ago, and it's like one of my favorite books now. So I'm really getting into the world. Like, I don't know if you know, but I injured my hip this week, so they gave me Schedule 5 drugs, which is, without being too irresponsible, not the worst experience in the world. So I'm lying at night listening to like Cyberpunk storytelling, really well produced, and it's a bit old, but it's like, it gets you in the zone. So let's hear it in the context of the track here. Here we go. We're gonna beef this thing up. We're gonna beef this thing to hell. By the time I'm done with this, it's gonna be a filet mignon. Okay, that's much better. It still sounds a bit raw, but it's fine. We'll do the mixing later. I've got a bus here for the guitar. Quite stoked. Quite stoked. I'm like a fire. I am stoked. Okay, bass, guitar, electric. Let's get a bit of reverb on there and just solo it out, see how it sounds. Yeah, that's it. No, hey, shut up. Obey me, machine. There we go. This is a basic reverb, but like I said, we'll do the mixing later. I just want to get a preview now. And I also need to gate these parts so that we've got clear. The shit is going on. My keyboard's malfunctioning. There we go. I want to gate these parts so that it's I want to actually cut the clip gain, yeah, whatever you want to call it, clip gain or volume. Listen to this, it's gonna clip out. Should be like jan jan. How's it? Clip gain is just like volume, right? Yeah, that's it. I just want that to be there. That's it. And now without the click, just a little rapid fade. That's it, yeah. Just a little bit like that. We can take that whole envelope and duplicate it because the pause should be in the same place for both takes. So we're going to just see if that works. Duplicate. Yep, that's right. Duplicate. 808 Ernica. 808 Ernica. Hard as fuck. Yes, thank you. I'm getting there. I've got a guitar and a Marshall amp behind me, which I'm using to make this hard AF in Gen Z slang. I don't feel very Gen Z. 808. Is it Ernica? Sorry. The N in your name looks like it's a non-standard character set. How do you pronounce it? Wish I could be like you one day. Thanks, man. That makes me feel special and old, and I don't mind being either. Because I'd rather turn into an old dude who's still doing cool shit than like some guy who used to be in a band or like used to play a bit of guitar, you know? That's the trick, is like low and slow, bro. Let the posers and the faders go like wild and then burn out and, you know, all that shit. By the time they're 30, they're like, you know, working in really boring jobs. I'm working in a boring job, but I still make time to do this shit. And that's why I fucking rock. Okay, cool. I'm going to do the same effect on this clip gain over here. I just want to make sure that I've copied the envelope, yo. And I'm really looking forward to handing these packs out, man. I want to see what you guys do with them. Enika says, exactly. Goated mentality. Thank you, bro. That is the most awesome Gen Z thing anyone's ever said about me. Here we go. Still a bit loud. Yeah, it's a nice dip out there. It's still a bit loud, but let's just get it in the mix. Yeah, there we go. Cool. It's the right vibe. And we haven't even come up with the second drums yet. I mean, we've still got this whole this kit, which is like this thing. This is this badass distorted kit. Let's do a layer of that now. I'm just going to record it. Here we go. And a 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. Oh yeah, that's so ugly. Look at that distortion. Look at that compressor. It's like going mental. Yes, thank you. Am I going to quantize it? No. I'm going to be a hard ass and just not quantize it today. Zero quantization. That actually looks kind of cool. I haven't done video stuff for a long time. I used to do all this cool, fun stuff. Just mainly for myself, like video shit. It looked quite cool. Okay guys, this loop is starting to give me ear fatigue, and it's time to go and be a boring dad and husband, which I love. So yeah, I will be back tomorrow, and I'm actually looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to coming back to this hard track. It's going to be great. Because I'm almost at the end. Look here, I'll show you something cool. See up in the corner here? Track 9, Cyberpunk. That means I am one track away from finishing the first pass of all of the 10 tracks that I said I was going to release like 6 weeks ago when I started this, and I'm going to release them. First I've got to get to 10 tracks, and then what I do is I go back to track 1 and I kind of listen to it, and then I throw up a bit because it's so bad. And then I just forgive myself and start mixing it and adding sounds and taking the stuff that I learned from the later tracks. So like now at this point I've kind of warmed up. It's like you've warmed up your voice. You go back to track 1, you're like, oh yeah, that thing I did in track 8 would work here, and I've created that preset from track 7, and I could just use that from track 3. And so you start to like back implement all of the stuff that you did later, and then the entire project kind of comes to life, and it gets quicker because the stuff you're doing at the end of the project is you warmed up already, so there's not much more to do. And once I do the second pass of it, then I put it on earphones, I listen to it in the car for a while, maybe a few days, and I come back and do like a final pass on anything that sticks out. And then I'll start with the like video creation, and I'll do masters through BandLab. I don't know if you know BandLab. Of course you do, you guys all know BandLab, but you can like upload your sort of pre-masters there, and they spit out like a high quality master for you for free. So that's quite cool. Not sponsored by BandLab, wish I was. Would take their money any day. Yeah, and then we'll start to put out these tracks once every 10 days, probably starting at the end of around June or July. Why so late? 2 reasons. One, incentivizes patrons to get the stuff earlier, but also I've got a pack of 10 tracks that I worked on for the last 3 months, the 80s stuff. I call it GTA 80s Action Montage or something like that. It's all those like action sounding tracks that I was making. If you check the live feed, you'll see them. So that's where that's kind of gone. Here's the artwork for that. John Bartman, 80s Action Montage. That's coming out starting like now. So like pretty soon, in the next couple of days, I'll be starting to release these tracks. Jonathan the Piano says, what would you do if that MIDI keyboard floats in the air and slaps your face while streaming? Wait a second, I don't know what you mean, but it sounds funny. I've got 2 MIDI keyboard. Okay, so it depends. To answer your question, Jonathan the Piano, if it was the small MIDI keyboard, I'd smack it back. And if it was the large MIDI keyboard, I'd kind of maybe just sit it down and have a stern talking to. It also just depends how hard that track slaps, right? Huh? Woo! Oh wait, you couldn't hear my zing because the guitar's not enabled. I went like this. That's the sound I make when I make a dad joke. Okay, gotta go, dudes. Gotta go be a dad. Peace out, homies. Maximum power to you. See you tomorrow, 2 p.m. UTC. Ah, my fucking hip. I will be, sitting on the couch listening to the BBC radio interpretation of the radio, what's it called? The radio play of Cyberpunk. I know you guys probably don't listen to anything that wasn't made like in the recent future, but I'm going to drop the link for you. And sorry, I can't drop the link because it's going to take too much time to get on WhatsApp, but there's a link to it on SoundCloud, a decent quality one. If you're into Cyberpunk, if you're into the novel Neuromancer, go and check that out. Let's get rid of that. Mike van der Woert says, make metal sometimes? ? Bro, I wish I could say I made metal often, but I don't. What I have done is some guitar stuff. I put out an album called Robot Space Jazz a while ago, or Robot Space Rock, I think it was called, which had the closest thing I've ever done to metal, but I'm not really kind of a guitar, metal guitar guy. I'm a jazz guitar guy, so I don't do like, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to. I'm just going to add a link right now to Robot Space Rock, so take a look there. That's about the closest thing I've done, linked in the chat, to metal, and those are all Creative Commons tracks, so if you want to use them, go ahead, download them, just credit me. You guys are getting me monologuing, I've got to go. Peace out, really nice to meet you. A couple of new faces, Mike, Jonathan, 808, appreciate you guys stopping by, I really do. I know I talk a lot of shit, but I really do. It makes the stream way more fun. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys again in the future, maybe. Peace out, take it easy, have a good day. I'm going to just let this play in the background while I kind of shut things down. Yeah, really hope you guys have a nice day. See you later.